Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about Halo today and their developer 343 Industries. Some upcoming changes and announcements and so on and so forth regarding Halo. Let's cue up the music and we'll get right into it. Alright, so Microsoft is rebranding the Halo developer 343 Industries to Halo Studios and announces multiple new projects are in development and claims they're changing the recipe for new Halo games. That sounds a little scary right off the bat, right? Because we know when they change recipes for games, a lot of times there's a lot of backlash and a lot of fail and a lot of unhappy gamers. So let's dig into this a little bit and talk about it here, see what's going on. Microsoft rebranded 343 Industries to Halo Studios while announcing multiple new projects and claiming they're changing the recipe for future projects. In a post to X, the official Halo account shared a new dawn. We're entering the next chapter of the franchise and changing the recipe for how we make Halo games. Go behind the scenes with Project Foundry to explore the creative potential of Halo in Unreal Engine 5. The company then shared it was recruiting developers to join it to help bring the next generation of Halo games to life. So, that all sounds pretty good. I mean, this cool picture here, it looks great. Now, we're going to stop for a second here. I never have played Halo. I never owned an Xbox or anything like that. So, I can tell you right off the bat, I know nothing about Halo other than what I've heard. And I've heard quite a bit through the years. Halo was always like the flagship franchise of Xbox. It was the reason you bought an Xbox, was because, oh, the new Halo game's coming out. And I know the fans love Halo. They do. The fans love the game. Now, from my understanding, I don't know if it was the last game or the last couple games, it's kind of fallen a little bit out of favor. It's not as good as the original ones used to be. And that's, unfortunately, that's something that we see all the time with many different franchises. They will go through slumps from time to time, and then they'll pick it back up. So I don't know where Halo stands right now. If you're a fan of Halo or a player, let me know what you think of the current state of the game before all this announcement. And then, what you think about all this. Do you think this is a good thing coming up here? Anyway, in a YouTube video announcing the rebrand as well as the new game, it provided details on Project Foundry, with the game's lead effects artist, Daniel Henley, sharing the Foundry project was an effort to show ourselves how far we can push things using Unreal 5. Studio art director Chris Matthews added Foundry specifically is based around the same concept of the Foundry in Halo lore. It's a place where Halo rings are born. He added, it's not a game, it's a research project for our studios, so we can prepare ourselves for the next step of making games. Neat. I won't play the video here, but you'll be able to watch it when you come to this page here. Like I said, I'll put the link down below. So it sounds like they're building assets and all that and kind of laying the groundwork down for not just one Halo game, but several of them, which is interesting, Henley then shared the original Halo franchise was a graphic showcase. It was best in class. That's what Halo was when it first was released, and that's what Halo needs to be again. When Henley noted the team aims to make future games and graphic showcases, Matthews told Xbox Wire the spirit of Halo is more than just the visuals, it's the lore, it's the physics. He elaborated, playing as the Chief, you're this huge tank of a soldier. It's the way he moves, he feels. We're all really obsessed about what our players love about Halo. We're constantly listening to the feedback, and that's at the core of any initiative like Foundry or any intention that the studio has about how we move forward. So, you're a huge tank of a soldier. Well, good. So it sounds like they're going to try to stay true to the lore of the game and the character Master Chief. We're not replacing Master Chief with someone else from the sounds of things, Now, if they're developing multiple games at the same time, we may see a spin-off, we may see some other stuff. I don't know how this is going to play out, We might see, I don't know. We might see a games-as-a-service version of Halo try to come out and get into the market. Who knows? Anyway, in the video, Matthews provided more details about Project Foundry. We ideated on 3 locations, something old, something new, and something really alien. They then detail those 3 locations are the Pacific Northwest, the Cold Lands, and the Blightlands. Matthews then shared Foundry was an initiative that touched on every part of the creative process. everything from concept art, VFX, characters, vehicles, and weapons to make the future games of Halo. And Brian Repko, the gameplay model supervisor, added, creating an asset, taking this design, now we can really dig into material foundations. What is it actually made of? How is it physically accurate to the world? Now we get to take all the wonderful legacy assets that we have, bring them to life, and bring them to today's standards. So I guess we're talking old weapons, vehicles, buildings, enemies, characters, all that kind of stuff. They're going to be rebuilding from the ground up, and yeah, it'd be cool. This is the Blightlands. That looks awful. Anyway, from there, and I don't mean awful in a bad way, just it's freaking horrifying. From there, Chief Operating Officer Elizabeth Van Wyck claimed the company has multiple projects in development. She said, we're really excited to be not just working on multiple projects, but also expanding our studio. Head of Production Michael Farney added, we're looking for new talent as the projects that we're working on get further and further into the development cycles. So yeah, a couple different projects at once, huh? That's fascinating. So this is the Pacific Northwest, this is the Blightlands, and this is the Coldlands. Okay. Fair enough. Couple different, biomes. Finally, VP and studio head Pierre Hintz said, Halo Infinite was the last remnant of how we made Halo games in the past. That was our recipe. And what we're doing right now is we're changing our recipe. He elaborated on this with Xbox Wire. If you really break Halo down, there have been two very distinct chapters. Chapter 1, Bungie. Chapter 2, 343 Industries. Now I think we have an audience which is hungry for more. So we're not going to try to improve the efficiency of development, but change the recipe of how we make Halo games. So we start a new chapter today. Pistol, look at that, man. I mean, graphics have really come a long way in these games. It's absolute insanity. Anyway, he also noted that what they've created with Project Foundry will be used in the games that they are creating. He explained everything we've built is built to the kind of standards that we need to build for the future of our games. We were very intentional about not stepping into tech demo territory. We built things that we truly believe in, and the content that we've built, or at least a good percentage of it, could travel anywhere inside our games in the future if we so desire it. It's fair to say that our intent is that the majority of what we showcased in Foundry is expected to be in projects which we are building or future projects, he stated. This is smart, right? This is Halo Infinite here. So, Project Foundry, if they're building all these new assets and all that and showcasing it all off and all that, it's really cool because, yeah, they can develop multiple games at once and they don't need to develop brand new assets for all these games. If they're all set within the same universe, they're all Halo games, let's say, right? One set here, one set there. Minor changes can be made to assets to set them apart from other assets or whatever. But minor changes can be made, but it would be awesome to have this like toy box full of weapons and buildings and vehicles and all this other stuff that they could just plug into all these new games and all that, and so you develop all that kind of stuff once and then you use it in multiple games, and then the next step is, and the evolution would be down the road, you got a new project coming up or a couple new projects, so you add some new assets to it, but you keep mixing and matching the old ones. It makes sense. I know a lot of games do that anyway, but here these guys seem like they're doing it from the start. Like they're not just putting out a game and then later on they're going to be like, oh, we can reuse some of these assets. These guys are planning ahead. They're like, let's build all this crap, all these toys, and then let's build some games with them. So that's kind of neat. Anyway, as for what these new games look like, Hintz and his team did not provide many details. He explained one of the things I really wanted to get away from was the continued teasing out of possibilities and must-haves. We should do more and say less, and I like that. Because, let me tell you, man, too many of these studios promise us too much. They put out these amazing cinematic trailers that gamers know the game's not going to look like that, right? That's not gameplay we're seeing. We're seeing a cinematic trailer that's telling us a little bit about the upcoming game. And, Cyberpunk 2077 is a great example of how that can bite you in the ass, right? Because that came out years before the game came out, and it built all this anticipation up for so long that it kind of snowballed into expectations for the game were so high, and so many promises weren't delivered on, and it was an absolute abysmal failure when it was released. It's fantastic now. It's a high... People love it, myself included. But, at launch, it was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Anyway, for me, I really think it is important that we continue the posture in which we have right now when it comes to our franchise. The level of humility, the level of servitude towards Halo fans, he added. We should talk about things when we have things to talk about at scale. Today it's the first step. We're showing Foundry because it feels right to do so. We want to explain our plans for Halo fans and attract new passionate developers to our team. The next step will be talking about the games themselves. As for why they're developing multiple projects instead of focusing on one, hint shared, we had a disproportionate focus on trying to create the conditions to be successful in servicing Halo Infinite. But switching to Unreal allows us to put all focus on making multiple new experiences at the highest quality possible. Interestingly, Van Wyck then noted that the company plans to make games that players want to play. At the end of the day, if we build the games that our players want to play, that's how we'll be successful. She added, that's what should motivate what we build, and that's what this structure has done. We want the people that are day in, day out making the games to be the ones to make the decisions on the games. Well, I wish them luck. You know, if this is going to be their attitude, that they want to give players what they want to play, then go for it. You know, I would like to see Halo succeed again. I don't know if these guys are going to have, if there's enough time left in this generation to release a Halo game for the Series S and X. There might be, you know, it really depends on how far along some of these projects are. If, you know, it could be like an end of generation game release that kind of releases on both the X and S series and then whatever the next Xbox is going to be. Who knows? But anyway, furthermore, she shared that the company will consistently seek player feedback. We're seeking it earlier and earlier, wider and wider feedback from our players. Well, I hope they take it and listen to it. You know, we don't always give feedback in the most polite manner. Sometimes we're outright nasty about it. Sometimes, you know, I see it all the time, and myself, I'm included in that. Sometimes I can be very critical of things. I try not to be. I try to be, you know, reasonable about it. But if I don't like something, I'm going to mention it. And the thing you don't want to see is all these guys out there, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. You know, well, blah, 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 the game's not meant for you, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, man, if you're a Halo player, these guys are making the game for you. And if Halo players see some stuff that you're releasing and, you know, you say, oh, we're going to do this and that, and they don't like it, listen to them. You'll be successful. Listen to them. Don't tell them, well, it's not meant for you, because that's your audience. That is who will buy your game, is these hardcore Halo fans. You know, that is your audience. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you don't like it, we'll explain why. What don't you like about it? And start some discourse about it. You know, sometimes it's too far along in a development cycle to change something major. That can be understood, and you can, you know, developers can explain that. Well, at this point, we really can't change that, but we appreciate that, and we'll consider that in the future, and yada yada. You know what? If you talk and you converse with people, it's so much better than just preaching to them and yelling at them and berating them and just writing off their opinion as if it's worthless, because we've all got opinions on things, and they all have some sort of value and merit to them, especially as consumers. You know, if you don't listen to your consumers, you're going to fail. And we've seen enough of that in 2024. You're going to fail, and it's guaranteed. Anyway, she says they started that with the Master Chief Collection and carried it on with Halo Infinite, and they want to do it even more for their next projects. At the end of the day, it's not just how we do evaluate, it's how do our players evaluate it. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about the future of Halo here. I'm kind of curious about it. If you've got any experience with this game, I'd love to hear it. You know, has it not been good for a while, or was Halo Infinite, I guess that was the last iteration, was that any good? I heard that was pretty bad overall, at least in the grand scheme of Halo. I don't know. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.